Join me this morning as I make welcome my special. I call it special because today's edition of Melting Points is going to be a special edition. And so I happen to have a special co-anchor just for today. Is none other than the citizen himself, citizen Matthew Kofi O'Connor, MKO, is a productivity advocate, a reformer, and founder, president, Open Forum. Citizen, good morning to you.
Thank you so very much, Juliana.
You know, you've always sat on the other side of the bed.
Yes.
How does it feel, this other side?
There are always special moments in life. And today is one of those special moments. And I'm very honored to share the mic with you as a co-anchor because we are having a very
not the mic,
special,
actually, the divide.
Special,
because
yes.
you have your own mic, but the divide, on this side of the divide.
Okay.
You're sharing this side of the divide with me, yes.
You got me there. Good morning, listeners and viewers, because we are streaming live on Memories 965 FM on Facebook. You just go there and follow this conversation that's going to be a game changer. And you can also watch us live on Open Forum with Citizen MKO. I am yours truly, Citizen MKO. I'm just an ordinary citizen, but with extraordinary drive of patriotism.
Okay, talking about being a special day and a special session, actually. We've got a special personality in the building, and the topic for discuss is a special one at that, yes. All right, we have the presence of Sir Essang Bassey, the President General, Oron Union in the building. Good morning to you, sir.
Before he even says good morning, he is more than just the President General of Oron Union. Mm-hmm. He is the chairman, board of trustees of Oro-Obolo People's Union. Mm-hmm. He's also the member BOT of Methodist Church Nigeria, state president, Boys Brigade of Nigeria, and a retired permanent secretary. We are not just having an ordinary guest. We are having a big fish in the house on Melting Point.
Of course.
Yes.
That's why I said it's a special edition. So dear listeners, stick around because what is up for discuss will definitely interest you. All right, today on Melting Point, we intend to look at the request for the creation of Obolo State to the last public hearing for the review of the 1999 Constitution as amended. I'll take that again, the request for the creation of Obolo State to the NAS, that's the National Assembly, public hearing for the review of the 1999 Constitution as amended, the matters arising. And of course, this morning, just before we delve into the main business of the day that I've just mentioned now, we have our special guest right here, and we'd like to harp a bit on what has transpired in the union so far, the Oron Union. We understand there was a centenary celebration and thereafter the election and all that. Sir, I'd like you to touch on these events first before we delve into the matter of the day. The centenary celebration, how did it go?
Thank you very much,
Juliana.
Yeah. The centenary celebration, to the assessment of many people so far, has been very successful. We celebrated 100 years of Oron Union, created in 1925 by illustrious sons of Oro to foster development, improve education of their fellow citizens, and fight for the rights of the people of Oron Nation. And it was time for us to roll out the drums to celebrate a people that have consistently for 100 years, every year do meet. And we have branches all over, not just in Nigeria, across the globe. We have branches in the US, in London, in Japan, and so on, all identifying with the Oron Union. So it was a great thing, and we thank God most of them traveled all the way to join us. And for those who had opportunity to be with us, I think they really enjoyed themselves. We brought back some ancient things like traditional wrestling was there. Boat regatta was part of it. We had school quiz for school children. In fact, we had activities for every segments of the society. Even you had a night of entertainment at the Oron Sports Stadium, free. We had Oron sons and daughters who are in the entertainment industry. They came out there en masse for the whole night to entertain people. And finally, we had the celebration on the 23rd of May 2025, and it was a very grand activity. And we thank all those that came out to rejoice with us, all those that contributed in one way or the other. I use this opportunity to appreciate them.
Talking about how successful the event was, we want to congratulate you for having such an event. But looking at the activities, the public space was, how do I put it now? The public space followed issues that transpired in the course of the celebration. There were press statements from the Oro Union, the traditional, the Council of Oro Traditional Rulers, that had some issues. And there was also this other dimension, one of the Oro sons who questioned that the Oro Union is not 100 years. It wasn't established in 1925. It was actually, I think, 1942, according to him. How did you surmount all those issues to still have a celebration that you can be proud of, like you're saying it right now?
Well, when great things and great events wants to take place, you always see people coming out, forces coming out to see how they can derail it. And I thank God that they did not succeed. Somebody said it started 1942, but then we posted a banner which some Oro sons and daughters made even 1942, and on top of it was clearly written Oro Union formed 1925. So how could he? How could he now say that it was not 1942, but it was not 1925, but 1942? When actually people who lived in 1942 had a banner showing 1925, and it could also we have evidence that within that period, by 1928, we were able to send people to Oro Training Institute then to be trained as teachers. Money contributed by members of the Oro Union then.
In 1928, you said?
Yes. That the union had started by 1925, and that they were able to meet constantly to think of how to develop their people. They sent people abroad to go and study law. They sent people to Oro institution to be trained as teachers, and so on. So how can you now come and say that the union started in 1942? But I thank God that we were able to scale through all that by actually celebrating. Since after the celebration, all those noises have stopped. For the traditional institution, we were able to meet them and resolve all that needed to be resolved. And you could see from the pictures that came out that they were solidly behind us. And the celebration was a very huge success.
All right, wonderful. Let's talk about your election as president, you understand, and how it has been. Let's just put us into light on that.
Oron Union presidency is always held once in 2 years, every 2 years. And the last one, which I was a candidate, was held in December 2023. So I assumed office in January 2024. It was a very peaceful transition, no problem, and so on. And we thank God for it. And since then, we've been handling the affairs of the union smoothly. You could see last year we held a grand reception for prominent Oron sons and our daughter, the deputy governor. And then we successfully celebrated the centenary and a lot of other activities. The centenary alone was a 1-month activity, not just one day. So you could know that people came out, they supported us both financially, morally, and otherwise. So the union has been moving very smoothly and moving forward, and we thank God for that.
Maybe a very quick one for clarity. You said the Oro Union presidency is held 2 years.
Yeah, every 3 years. And then renewable another term? Yeah, we have in the second term for another 2 years. So 4 years.
You cannot go beyond 2 terms.
4 years. Yeah, you cannot go beyond 2 terms.
Okay.
To 2 years, which is 4 years.
A very quick one, sir. Do you foresee a situation where the time frame can be extended to allow a particular sitting president to be able to achieve much. What can a president do in 2 years?
Well, 2 years, 4 years, we have a constitution. We cannot go against our constitution unless we choose to amend it. So for now, it's 2 years.
But from your experience, this is a hot seat. Would you, if you are asked in your innermost thought, would you recommend a review? Maybe 3 years, first term, 3 years, second term?
Well, honestly, I wouldn't want to go against the wish of the people who drafted the Constitution.
Okay.
So 2 years, 3 years, 4 years is enough to do whatever you want to do.
It's okay.
And it's rotational?
Yeah, it's rotational.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. All right. This morning, let's take a look. Let's start to delve into the matters, the issues raised by the Oron Union in their press release as they collaborate with the Obolos to demand for a state creation from the present Akwa Ibom state. The issue of state creation right now. And I do not know. I think I should just put up some foundation for us this is for the benefit of the listener, actually, so that maybe we can, stand on the premise of this. The Abuja branch of I'm taking the communique issued at the end of the emergency general meeting of the Oro-Obolo stakeholders group, Abuja branch, held on Friday, July 11, 2025. Now, the Abuja branch of the Oro-Obolo stakeholders group at an emergency general meeting held on Friday, July 11, 2025, deliberated extensively on the ongoing national conversation and agitation for the creation of a Obolo state from parts of Akwa Ibom and River State. And following a thorough review of current realities, historical context, and constitutional provisions, the group unanimously adopted some resolutions. I'll just mention them in passing. 1 was total support for Obolo state creation. 2, endorsement of stakeholder positions. 3, constitutional backing. 4, historical neglect and marginalization. 5, rejection of historical and geographical distortions. 6, respect for federally recognized boundaries. 7, on the opposition to Obolo state. 8, advocacy for peace, justice, and unity. 9, commitment to nation building. 10, call for national support. And this was jointly signed by Cyrus Nkango. I beg your pardon. You have to forgive me if I don't get the names correctly because I'm not from that side. Okay, but I'll still try my best. This is Cyrus Nkangwong, Chairman Oro-Obolo Stakeholders Group, Abuja Branch. Benson Esquire, Secretary, Oro-Obolo Stakeholders Group, Abuja Branch. And Ngo Isaac Harrison Esquire, Publicity Secretary, Oro-Obolo Stakeholders Group, Abuja Branch. All right.
Yeah, still laying the foundation because we are hosting the biggest name, the biggest figure in Akwa Ibom State when it comes to the aspiration of Oro people to form a coalition with their Obolo brothers to demand for a state creation because of the National Assembly public hearing to review the 1999 Constitution as amended. And Oro Union, which our guest is the President General, made a press release that preceded the one that has just been read by Juliana, and it's good to be able to carry our listeners along and then to begin to lay the foundation, asking our guests to address these issues. So it is important that we hear what Oro Union wrote, which we have confirmed is authentic. The press release says, Oron Union declares her full support for the creation of Obolo State. And it says, I won't read everything, but the key point is that the Oron Union, the apex sociocultural and political organization of the Oron Union, hereby declares its firm and irreversible support for the demand of the creation of a Obolo state in a collective aspiration of the indigenous people of Oron, Okobo, Orefong, Oruko, Mbo, Udonguko, Ibno, Eastern Obolo, local government areas in Akwa Ibom State, and Andoni in River State, bound by shared heritage, geography, language, culture, and a common destiny. The quest for state creation is not new after all. The people currently inhabiting these areas are people who, at one point or the other, demanded for a state creation Our forebears actively participated in the struggle for the Calabar-Ugoja rivers, that is core state, in the 1950s, a movement that eventually led to the creation of Southeastern State, now Cross River State, and River State. Further agitations brought about the creation of Akwa Ibom State in 1987. These milestones birthed new centers of development and identity. Today, the spirit of justice, equity, and inclusion, the Oro-Obolo people demand a state of their own. And it went on to talk about the issue of marginalization. It says, despite contributing immensely to the national economy through our vast oil and gas resources, we remain tragically underdeveloped for 38 years. We have endured A, total exclusion from key infrastructure projects, including universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. B, poor education system, with dilapidated classrooms, lack of science teachers, and children sitting on bare floors. C, neglect of coastal access routes, lack of dualized highways, and no connection with Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. D, continued marginalization in political representation, with Oro-Obolo people never having to produce a governor or enjoyed fair appointment. D, abandonment of Ibaka Deep Seaport project, following unjustified relocation and name change. It goes on and on, because you are here to even say more than what you could have written in your press statement. I want you first to speak to this desire of the Oron people to want to join forces with their Obolo or our Obolo brothers. We are all from Akwa Ibom.
Yes.
Juliana,
Definitely.
Are you not from Akwa Ibom?
I am.
Very good. So we are all from Akwa Ibom. We are all one.
Yes.
A little foresight. I was part of the team that was in River State for the National Assembly public hearing, I think in 2021 edition. And Oro people came to that very presentation looking for new Calabar states. The Obolo people came looking for Obolo states. The Jaws came looking for, I think, what they call Atlantic states. Itai State movement came, our Anang brothers came looking for Itai State movement. Between 2021, 2022 edition, and now we are seeing Oro aligning with Obolo. That has never happened, at least to the best of my knowledge as an analyst that I try to be, that I am. Let's start from there. The agitation. When did you change your mind from New Calabar State movements to Obolo State movements? And then we'll go into the issues we have raised.
Yeah, I take it up from there. The 1921 public hearing. 2021 public hearing in Port Harcourt. If you had observed very well that there were two teams there, the one that advocated for Calabar State with Oron as part of them, and the one that advocated for Obolo State with Oron as part of them. So the Obolo presentation in Port Harcourt to the 9th National Assembly included Oro, and it is that which we have revived. And then talk about the unity. Oro-Obolo Union started as far back as 1902 from our records. 1902. But along the line, as we grew, we decided to form individual unions. Like Oron Union came up 1925, some few years after that, 1902.
Interesting.
So we have decided to revive that thing that joined our ancestors over a century ago, since 1902. So it's not a new thing that we are partnering with our Obolo brothers. And if you look at the history, the ancestral history, they have a putative father, which is Abang, who had Andoni and Oro. So we are just cousins, brothers, we should say. The other ones that moved a little to the west, and the people that settled at the estuary of the Cross River, which are the Oro people. So there's never been any difference between us and them. So we are one people. So what I'm saying is that the agitation for this state creation under Obolo State started even as far as that 2021 they're talking about. So if you look at the presentation that was made, it was both Oro and the Obolo people that made that presentation. And that presentation also had Oron as the capital, just like this present one is also having Oron as the capital. It's a trade-in. You cannot take everything, we give them the name Obolo, and we take the state capital. So in everything, you negotiate and move on. So that is the truth about it.
All right. Moving on now. I think we've
Then to talk about
we address the core.
Yes, we've addressed the core
that's led
right
to
now.
this very
Yes,
advocacy.
let's delve straight into this matter because what I understand from my inquiries and research and all that, there has been some opposition to the creation of Obolo states, actually. And I'd like to take a little of that excerpt that the BBOs have opposed the demand for the creation of an Obolo state from Akwa Ibom state, saying they will not concede any part of their land and occupied by the Obolo people, and that this was the position of the Ifeami Bomi Bibio, the highest traditional leadership institution in Akwa Ibom, during the public hearing on the review of the 1999 Constitution. The public hearing on the amendment of the 1999 Constitution for the South-South Zone was declared open on Friday at Ikorekpene by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, and the memorandum was presented by Dr. Samuel Donsak, the President General of Eket People's Union, on behalf of the Ifeami Bomi Bibio. The Bibios are the largest ethnic group in the state. And Donsak stated that whereas the Bibios are not opposed to the creation of new states in the country, the Obolo people in Ibra and Eastern Obolo, who are, he used the word squatters, on Ibibio lands, do not have any right to carve out any portion to create a state of their own. And he went on to say that in the current constitutional amendment process and exercise, Ifeami Bomi Bibio notes that Nigerian people have made requests to the National Assembly for the creation of 31 additional new states across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. He goes on to state a whole lot, but I'm sure, Sir Essang Musavasi, you're very much aware of the situation from that end. I'd like you to react to that.
It's very, very unfortunate that came in, to me, not from our brothers, the Bibios, but particularly from the Eket axis, which are trying to drag the whole of Ibibio into the whole issue of state creation. We have good relationship with our Ibibio brothers. I don't see state creation dividing us. We went with Cross River and we still go to Calabar. We still have relations, we have properties, and a lot of Akwa Ibom people are still living in a Cross River state. So I don't see having a state carved out of Akwa Ibom state that should cause such wranglings. But to me, I see them as those people that are protesting against it as interlopers, because the request does not include them. The names of the local governments that are requesting for the state are clearly stated. Oron, Kobo, Urefon Oruko, Mbo, Oron, Ibno, Eastern Obolo, and Andoni. So for you to come out and say you don't want something that does not even include you is a very unfortunate.
That means people that are affected are not even talking.
Yeah,
it's someone that is not.
No,
I'm coming.
Let me come.
Then I've read some of the write-ups.
Yes.
That Ibno constitute about 80% of the BBO people, and that they have joined with the Ibno people to request for this Obolo state. That means that the people that are actually living on the land called Ibno today was the state. So, and you are not living there. The people that are protesting that they don't want a state, ask them, are they physically living on that land?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
We have a very wonderful opportunity which you've granted us. Remember, this interview was to hold on Monday. It wasn't possible, and you graciously accepted to be here. And you are making very strong points that will help listeners, both those for and against, to have deep insight. Now, looking at the number of local governments that forms Obolo state movements, which we have named, that also includes Andoni, which is in Rivers State. Part of the issues raised by the Ibibio people is the fact that there's no contiguity of the local governments mentioned, and that is to the effect that two things. There is a map which has been gazetted, which shows that some of the local governments not included, like Eket, Ona, Esideket, actually get to the Atlantic, which makes the coastline not to allow this Oro-Obolo local government areas to be contiguous. And that is their strongest point. The second is that there are colonial judgments over ownership of certain portions of land, which I think the agitators, have been able to say, oh, this judgment was given in 1918, the other one was given in 1931 or 1940 something, whatever. I'm sure you know much more than that. So let us speak to this issue of contiguity. Is there a contiguousness of all the local governments that make up Obolo state? Or does this earlier judgment and does the map, which has been gazetted, no, is still under some dispute to the extent which you want to speak to, how does that affect the aspiration of the Obolo people talking about contiguousness? Because they are saying, no inch, you can create states, yes, but don't take any inch of the BBO land. How speak to that, sir?
Okay, I can categorically tell you as an historian that no ancient colonial or current map until the one that was published, is it in 2023 or thereabouts, by the immediate past government, that has ever placed the BBO on the coastal plain of West Africa. You can Google it, you can look for any map, look for anything. You will never see the BBOs on the coastal plain. That is number one. You may find Eket along the coastal line in some maps. But then this Eket over time was divided into 3 or even 4. You have the Ibno, formerly called Ukwo Ibno, which was divided to Ibno and Ukwo, which Ukwo now changed to Esreket and Eket. So these are people who were occupying the same area, and over time, administratively, they were divided into 3. So how can you come and say, oh, the other portion, all of the other portion belongs to me, when you were all occupying that same geographical area, and administratively was divided into 3? But for the other hand, what you call Bassey now, or Nkparenan, or Eastern Obolo, used to be known as Iwenga Pobo, not Ibibio land. It used to be known as, I schooled at St. Teresa's Catholic School, Iwenga Opobo, before the war. And the whole of that area was known until 1972. After Southeastern State was created in 1967, by 1972, when divisions were created, the name was changed from Opobo to Bassey. And that same area that the 3 groups coexisted was divided into 3. The Bassey, Nkparenan, and Eastern Obolo. And Eastern Obolo have been living peacefully. And you wake up today to claim that you own the whole land. Since when did you own the whole land? If you go to where you have Taiwan now, you see a floating jetty of NNPC there. And stand there and Google. Till today, that creek is still called Georgia's Creek. So where did they have access to the water? I categorically say that. Check the records. So that is one. But then the issue of state creation is not to divide us. That is it. Let's look at the positive side of it. I don't see state creation dividing us. We've intermarried over the years. We live together, and we will continue to live together. So let's look at the advantages of having the states. The National Assembly says they want.
Let me interject you a little, because there's something we need to clarify.
Yeah.
I can't remember when Obolo and Oro started this very agitation. Maybe you will, but looking at your press statements, you clearly noted that that's what talking about Oron Union, that there has been continued marginalization in political representation, with the Obolo people never having produced a governor or enjoyed fair appointment. You also cited the abandonment of the Bakadipsi port project following unjustified relocation and name change, among others. Supposing the Obolo people, which is now Oro-Obolo people, were able to produce a governor or had certain infrastructural amenities available to them. I am an analyst. I'm also on an NGO. I'm a special anchor on this program because we face issues.
Yeah.
Now, I have been to Eastern Obolo. I went as far as to the palace of the paramount ruler, and I wept. There may be other parts that are worse than that. So, supposing the Akwa Ibom state, as presently constituted, gave Oro and Obolo people what they would have considered as fair treatment.
Inclusiveness.
Inclusiveness. Would there have been this aspiration? There will be a follow-up question to that. Yeah. Would there have been this aspiration?
No, there wouldn't have been if you had carried the people along, as the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria says, that there should be inclusiveness, carry all the ethnic groups that are living within the area along for purpose of unity. And this has not been there for the past 38 years. We are talking about Ibakadip Seaport now. We had Ibakadip Seaport on a platter of gold. Federal government came there. They wanted to build that seaport. They appointed a contractor, ECC. They were to finance the project. The federal government set up an implementation committee as far back as 2013. The then governor of Akwa Ibom State, Governor Godswill Akpabio, GCON, laid the foundation stone. And the project was to be completed within 2 years. And suddenly by 2015, maybe they saw some people felt that since the federal government is going to do it, they can take it somewhere else. They move it from the present, the original position, which was Ibaka, to somewhere initially, I think they took it to Ibno axis that has shallow water. It couldn't be deep sea port again. The federal government had to withdraw through an NPA, Nigeria Port Authority. They withdrew from the project because it was not one. They changed the name from Ibaka Deep Seaport to Ibom Deep Seaport. They changed the location and so on. So everybody went their own way. And for 10 years, since 2015, when they set up a committee to actualize their Ibom Deep Seaport, till 2025, nothing has been done. They went to Ibno. Ibno people insisted, well, let's call it Ibno Deep Seaport. But then, like I said, it's shallow water. They saw the Greek gift. And because Ibno people did not agree to what they wanted, they've now brought it to a disputed land between Ibno, Esreket, and Oron.
Which is Unyere?
It's not Unyere.
Well, okay, it's called
Seaside. If you pass Unyere,
it's called Seaside. What is that location actually called?
I've been there, and it's not Unyere. And I will look at the map, and then I will tell you exactly, because I've driven down to the location. So the Unyere they are talking about is just a mere propaganda. So what I'm saying is that the seaport had left Oron since 2015. So all those election issues, we are going to build a deep seaport in Oron and so on, was a farce to deceive the people. So that's the truth about it. So for let's ask them, 10 years, there has been an implementation committee set up by the state government to set up Ibom Deep Seaport. Till today, what have they done? No access road. And when I went there, I saw they were trying to construct a one-lane road to a deep seaport that's supposed to be an international deep seaport. A lot of people will come in and so on and so forth. And the construction has not even reached 5%. 5%.
Sir Bassey, President General, you have made very startling revelations today. We've been privileged to host some of your finest sons. We've hosted Architect Twitter to you on the same mic. We've hosted Prince Chris Abasuyo, one-time commissioner and then chairman of the Oro think tank. And we've dealt with these issues. And none of them has made this kind of strong statement that even Unyere doesn't seem to exist, that the land where the project is set to be sited is disputed. We will have you to speak on Ibom or Ibaka Deep Sea Port on a separate date. Okay. But because of the importance of trying to see what sense can we make out of this conversation on state creation, how can we dialogue?
Yes, it was still on the state creation because we were talking about issue of marginalization.
Yeah.
I understand.
So I'm telling you that seaport was taken away until today.
It's so wide and deep.
So the present government is trying to say he's going back to the deep sea port, but then we don't know where it is. Right now, there's nothing on ground. But the only thing we have now on ground is a document by the chairman of the deep sea port that has been there for the past 10 years, giving us a timeline to start the project in 2027, a project we would have had by 2015.
No, that's why I said this very conversation will stand alone. But then, a very quick one. How many points can be described as the one that possesses what Ibaka has, a natural depth? Are there other points in the coastal line that has? Just a very quick one on that so that we go back to the state creation matter.
I said maybe Bassey, because Cross River State is thinking of building a deep sea port around the Bassey estuary, where part of it, which is still in Cross River State.
Yes.
But then the whole of that Ibaka axis. But last week, the ocean liner came in there without dredging, without anything, and discharged fuel at the Mbo River.
I saw the video.
Yeah, he was able to carry it. And now you are taking it. The issue is that where they want to locate it is no longer going to be a deep sea port. It's going to be a dock out port. What do you mean by dock out port? You have to dig the ground to get the depth that you want. And digging a depth from their map, from their design, you have to dig about 1.5 square kilometers. Where are you going to dump it? Nowhere in the world have they ever successfully built a dock out port.
Let us leave it there. We'll have you still on the deep sea port or Ibaka deep sea port as a standalone topic. Okay. Now, state creation, it's causing kind of disaffection, and some persons may not be thorough to ask questions and want to even interface. I remember when I did the promo for this program, somebody even challenged me. Why are you trying to give minority people opportunity to be heard? And I said, that is wrong, because we are here to protect humanity. There is a guideline that stipulates the process of those aspiring for a state to be created. And one of it is that 2/3 of the National Assembly members must vote for it. And at the State House of Assembly, you also have a 2/3. And as an analyst, I and Juliana, we believe that the National Assembly should have come up with the names of states that have been proposed based on those that have met the criteria. Let's say front and back, you just say, come and present, you went to present. Now, do you think the Oro-Obolo state movement can muster 2/3 of National Assembly members, 2/3 of the State House of Assembly members, and the local governments involved to be able to qualify if it is humanly possible that state can be created under a civilian administration, knowing that it's been military all through that created state and local government areas?
Okay, let me take from there. State creation is a process. You have to request for it, which we have requested. And now they have to read it. They pass the first reading, both in the House of Representatives and the Senate. And then the second reading, before the second reading, there has to be the public hearing, which took place, and they are following the Constitution. And we also are following the provisions of the Constitution. And then after that, the Constitution says 2/3 of the houses of assembly in the Federation, not Akwa Ibom State.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and so note that 2/3 of the houses of assembly in the Federation. So, and like if you read the book of Esther, what Mordecai told Esther, that if you keep quiet at a time like this, enlargement may come from somewhere else to save the children of Israel. So if the people of Akwa Ibom State fails to support that state creation, enlargement may come from somewhere else. And we believe the God that I worship, that it will come to pass. But that's not the issue, Sha. The issue I want to stress is the advantage of having a state. The National Assembly says they want to create states, and other regions are asking for it, and you say you don't want it. One, you are cheating yourself, because revenue allocation to states, the first point is 50% on equality of states. So if they divide other states into 2, 3, 4, 5, they are sharing in that 50%, and you are still having only one portion. They are having 3 portions. You are going to have 1 portion. So you are even losing for not requesting and having additional states. That's 1. 2, even in representation, every state must have 3 senators, and you are having only 3. And you have opportunity to have 6. You say you don't want it, you still want to have 3. You are putting yourself at a disadvantage. The national, the House of Rep, the same matter, the same issue. So each time you oppose state creation in your area, you are depriving yourself of a lot of things which others are busy grappling. In Cross River State, I've read yesterday that the Ogoja and the Calabar people are meeting to harmonize their position to push forward the creation of Ogoja State. And here we are saying we don't want it. So what? And then creation of this state will bring rapid development to the coastal area, which the present administration of Rivers and Akwa Ibom State has not been able to effectively develop those terrains, those difficult terrains. So I see it as a developmental project if you create Akwa Ibom, create Obolo State out of Akwa Ibom. So that Akwa Ibom will now be having 2 states instead of 1. The West has 6 states, and they are even requesting for more. The East Central, former and what you call the Igbo people, they have 5 states and asking for more. And here you have opportunity to have another one, and you are saying, oh, you don't want it. We are depriving yourself of a lot of things.
We would love the listeners to also have their input. We're going to open the phone line.
So let's emphasize on the advantages of having this new state.
Yeah, there are various advantages. We cannot rule out advantages and disadvantages, but one thing we need to clarify, which we want our listeners to also check up, is that when it comes to requests, there is a minimum number of representation within the area where this request for the state is being made. The other one is when it goes round for this, but there is the 2/3 of the National Assembly members of the state where request is being made. And then there's also the aspect of, if the state is created, will it affect...
I don't see any provision that says 2/3 of the members representing...
Yeah, we'll work on that. We'll have you again.
Okay.
We will have you again. We've done some researches on these, and
it's not in the Constitution.
From the Constitution, from whatever other reference records that we have, because to have allowed it to be open will have been something else. But that's just by the way. Okay. Now, the listeners will want to call in and have their take. Certainly, we are going to have you again because we are doing everything possible to also bring our Ibibio brothers possibly next week to also speak.
Yeah, but before we bring it so that we can have it clearly, you talked about a map,
Yes.
The state map. And I want to tell you that we are relying on the federal government map, which is authentic. We have a certified true copy of the real gazetted map of Nigeria, which has clearly defined the Akwa Ibom state boundaries and local governments. So our request is based on the map of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that has been gazetted.
And in that map, there is no core Ibibio local governments that got to the Atlantic, like you talked about.
Yes, there's none.
Esreket, which you mentioned earlier, does even Esreket not get to the Atlantic to
Esreket, like I said, was made up of Ukwo and Ibno. And along the line, they divided them into 2.
So does Esreket border the
initially, when it was Ukwo and Ibno, it did border the ocean. But when they divided the Ukwo Ibno into Esreket and Ibno, it was no longer a coastal state.
Deep talks, we will have this conversation again. The time is fast spent. I want to open the phone lines for our callers. I'd like to Jonathan take the phone numbers.
The numbers to call at this point, 0803 085 7755 or 0809 066 6909. Remember to keep it civil and short. Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Inwayan.
Inwayan, please step away from your radio sets. It's echoing.
Okay. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
You can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, go ahead.
is creating another state will not bring peace in Akwa Ibom State, especially in my local government, in the local government. We are still complaining that Abia State is attacking people. But in Kari, you don't have road passing. In Kari now, Abia State is attacking Akwa Ibom State. But there are people saying that it's in the matter. But these people are complaining every day to Akwa Ibom State government. They should see what they can do for us. Because issue of funding is the deputy governor is in charge of it. In our own, up till now, nobody is attending to us in the local government. Please, you are begging the state government to see what they can do within the people. Please, they're just kidnap person in it. Please, the state government should see what they can do for it.
All right, we had it right there.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Inwayen.
Yes.
I am aware of the issue of Ini. I've spoken with some persons there. We've also addressed it at certain points. Akwa State government needs to do something. I think we have another call.
We have another call, please. We know the emotions are high, but let's try to be more civil and, we are looking for the betterment of Akwa State in generality. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good morning to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This morning. The presenters of the boundary or whatever is the state creation. Well, this is Sophie Samuel calling from a bull road, DRM face to Port Agori State. I just want to tell you that creation of state is necessary. In fact, it is very, very imperative that Akwa Ibom has another state. I know the video extraction will be thinking of the oil, the irrigation, and all that because the new state that is being proposed has all the text to run even on it. So that's why maybe they are gypsy that the oil-bearing communities are coming together to form a state. That's the only problem I know. Otherwise, they would have allowed that state to be created for the functionality of the citizenry. If the state is created, most things, opportunities will be, happening. And of course, you don't have one state again; they have two states. It's just like the former cross-river state that enveloped the now Akwa Ibom. If it was not created, how would we have all these senators and House of Representatives that are representing us? So, please, for the sake of peace and harmony, good assistance and peace, the state should be created so that, in fact, you see, I learned that I was in Unica some years back, and I discovered that Akwa Ibom is standing on a tripod, stand. So you talk about the Anna, the video, and the Oros. But because you think of it, the Oros are not given an opportunity. When it was time for Oro people, they went and they still removed somebody from a video to be the governor. Whereas the Oro instruction were being cheated, were being marginalized. If you go to Oro, nothing is happening. So please, let me be creative.
Thank you. You've made your point.
There should be no impediment.
You've made your point. Thank you very much. Let's see if we can take one more call.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Samuel. Thank you. All right. The numbers to call is 0803 085 7755. A whole lot of reactions right there. Keep it coming. We would love to have your take on the issue on ground. 0803 085 7755, 0809 0666 909. The issue of Obolo state creation. Hello.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Thank you. Real wisdom, somebody from Oron.
All right, 60 seconds.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
Just go ahead.
You are talking about the question of Obolo State. And my own point of view is that it will be a better thing for also allow the creation of Obolo State so that we can have another set and we benefit from the federal government. But there's another advantage that makes people afraid. About 55 to 90% of revenue, the income coming from the federal is from our resources, from our mineral resources. And those states that produce those mineral resources are from those states that they want to carve out of Akwa Ibom. So I want to ask, if it happened now, they create that Obolo state and they carve it's rated Obolo out of Akwa Ibom, how are we, the people left Akwa Ibom going to survive? Are we still have the mineral resources that will sustain the state? That is the main thing that make us to be afraid.
Okay.
So I want you to something about that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I think that would be our last caller. Let us have our guest, Sir Essang, Sir Bassey, the President General of Oro Union, to just make maybe in a minute
reactions to
address
those
issues raised by the callers.
Yeah.
And then we'll just add just one more question for us to round up.
Okay, I'll start with the last.
In a minute, sir.
I'll start with the last caller. He's talking about the new state taking all the oil wells. That's not correct. If you look at the current position in Akwa Ibom State, there are 14 oil-producing local governments. Even in Tinan, Uruwanam, Itsrubium, Ikorabasi, Eket, Ona, they are all listed as oil-producing. Even where we have the onshore oil facilities and gas in Oron Nation is not classified as an oil producing. So how are we taking all the wells when your local governments are all listed as oil producing? So that is one. Two, the other issue is that people assume that Akwa Ibom State is an individual state. Like somebody calling in from Ini. Nkari has their language and they are still part of Akwa Ibom State, just like the Oro-Obolo people. So Akwa Ibom State, like every other state, is not homogeneous. You have other people living in it. So nobody can come and claim this is Ibibio State. In Cross River State, you have the Bekwara, you have the Jagam, you have the Kwas, the Efik, and so on. Like in the River State, you have the Kwere, the Igbos.
Because of time, sir.
That's it. So what I'm trying... Yes. Then the other issue there is that I would want to say the issue of law judgment, that is what we call limitation law, a time limitation law. If you have a judgment and you cannot execute it within a period of 12 years, it's statute bar. So for somebody to come and tell you, 1918 judgment that was given and gave us land, who is living actually in the land? The Ibino people, the Obolo people. Who is now currently living it the same, or they have lived there for years, for centuries. You have
brought in a dimension that we cannot take because of our time.
So for you to come and say today that it's your land.
We'll certainly have you again. Okay. But as a parting shot,
yes,
states creation is an advocacy which even the BBUs and the Oros started far back as a first in the country.
Yes.
So before it even materialized, it took almost a number of years. Now, if the Akwa Ibom State, as presently constituted, addresses the issue of marginalization, will Oro and Obolo people still look for a state?
Well, for now, it's late because there's a process going on until the process is over. So we cannot say it. On Friday, we are having on Saturday, the Federal National House of Representatives is also having their hearing on this state creation. So we cannot come and say if they do this. They had supposing the present administration says, yes, we are going to do this and that. And then the next one comes and says, no. A pharaoh who did not know Joseph comes in and he goes back to square one. Yeah. So it's better we pursue this to a logical end.
Well, the logical end is what we are trying to work on.
To give Akwa Ibom State to states so that we can benefit more from the federal resources.
But the window is there for dialogue.
Well, it's there for dialogue. Anybody who wants to join the state can apply, can send a memo.
Dialogue hasn't been...
can send a memorandum to the National Assembly. We welcome them.
Over to Juliana.
If anyone wants to join us, we welcome them. If Oron wants to join us, we welcome anybody. You can send a memorandum to the National Assembly and they will handle it. So we are not against. They're all our brothers.
Lovely way to end it this morning. We are all brothers in this. We had the pleasure of hosting Sir Essang Bassey, KJN, the President General Oron Union. He is also Chairman, BOT, Oro-Obolo People's Union, member, BOT, Methodist Church Nigeria, State President, Boys Brigade Nigeria, and a retired Permanent Secretary. Thank you so much for finding time to be here. We look forward, because this conversation has not landed. Yeah, we look forward to hosting you once again. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you very much. And to my special co-anchor for today, Citizen Matthew Kofi O'Connor, MKO. He is the president and founder of Open Forum. Thank you so much for being on this side of the divide today.
Thank you very much for having me here. It's a great pleasure.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful hosting Sir Essang, Mr. Bassey, KJW.
And this is where we'll leave it this morning, dear listener. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation this morning. Do also join us Monday when we'll be back on this issue. And of course, that will be open forum Monday. My co-strike partner today will be there. And of course, you always know he's loaded. For today, we leave it at this point. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Juliana Ekpado. Have a splendid day listening to our programs.